What's going on, guys? King Raven here, coming at you with another video today. So today we've got an awesome knife review slash overview thanks to the Lefty Pass Around group. Big shout out to the Lefty Pass Around group for letting me check out this knife. But before we get into today's knife overview, y'all remember to give me a like, leave a comment. In the description of this video and all my videos are my links. Those links are the best way to help support me here at this channel. So if you would like to help support what I do and to help bring more content and different types of content, like maybe some cutting tests and stuff like that, use those links and I greatly do appreciate it. At the end of the video, there'll be a little subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and check out the other video I have linked. Now let's flip this camera around and get into today's knife overview. Okay guys, so we are taking a look at a Remette knife. I have several Remettes in my personal collection, a couple of budgets, and then I have the Remette Swordfish. I like Remette knives, and in my opinion, they're getting better and better and better, because I started off, my first model that I had was the Rhino, and it's a good budget knife. It's a solid budget knife. But to see where they've gone with the Rhino all the way up through what they're producing now is just really, really encouraging. I love seeing what Remette's doing. So big shout out to Remette, and a big shout out to the Lefty Pass Around group for letting me check out this knife. What are we taking a look at today? Today, we are looking at the Remette Peregrine Falcon. Now, this is one of Remette's premium knives, and man, this thing has been impressive. Okay, so before we start getting into all of the thoughts and stuff like that, let's do just a rundown of what we're looking at here. Okay, we've got titanium. And then we've got these build-ups, and this is to house this particular lock system. We'll get into that in a minute. Nice back spacer with the built-in lanyard hole and a little bit of spotted jimping right here. Milled titanium pocket clip. It is not reversible. Now, I believe Lefty put in this tritium. Okay, so this knife has a couple of spots that you really could put in these little tritium valves. I've never done that before, but I think that's really awesome that they give you these spots that you could do. One up here on this blade, but it goes all the way through, so you're going to have to like have something there to seal it on both sides. And then the one in the pocket clip is, I believe, much easier because it's just a pocket. Y'all check out his video. I believe he actually showed how he did this, putting this UV light into this Peregrine Falcon. I like that idea a lot. It looks really cool. So, titanium handles and front flipper deployment hole. We have a awesome looking Tonto style blade. And the blade, if you can see right here, is in M390. So we have titanium, M390, and a nice sort of like a bead blasted finish. I mean, it's it almost looks like a combination of finishes, like a bead blast and like a hand finish on it and everything. And then this is like more like one of those vapor style blasting. Really cool two-tone effect. You almost got like a hand satin on all the flats area. So you've got really three tones going on. You've got this finish, and then this satin finish. So really think they really upped their game on how they're doing their blade finishes. Let's see if I can make that a little bit clearer. Hopefully the camera's picking up all what I'm showing. Really nice. I have medium-sized hands, okay? So back here, I get 4 full fingers with plenty handle left over. Then you have this spot that goes all the way up to right behind the edge that you can choke up on. So you got really, so large hands, double XL hands, no problem with this knife. I think you're going to be able to handle this knife, no problem. I would consider this a full-size knife. This is not a small knife, but it's not a huge knife. It's just a nice, full-size knife. On this M390 Tanto, you've got a tip that drops, and then you've got the secondary tip. So, if when you're using it, if you want to use that first tip, you do have to go up a little, but because it drops, you don't have to go up as nearly as much as you would think. So you can use that first tip. You can use the secondary tip for your drag cuts and your finesse cuts. Then for any push cuts, you can use this whole flat that's right here on this. Really nice. Power cuts, you've got this whole straight edge that you can just power all the way through your cuts. So really, really cool. Now, this pivot lock system is different than some of the other pivot locks I'm going to show you just in a minute from my collection, because it's connected to a liner, which like some of the other ones are, but this liner is actually accessible from the front. So you could ignore that pivot lock and just use the liner and treat it like just a straight liner lock. Or you can hit the center pivot and it drops like a pivot lock. So you get the functionality and the benefits of both style locks. Liner lock and a pivot lock all in one. So with that, having it attached to the liner, you get a real detent ball. So makes it much snappier, much better on deployment than like your traditional plunge style locks. So I really have been enjoying the pivot locks that have been coming out, and I think more companies should do more and more of them. So let's compare this to a couple of pivot locks that I have in my collection. So I have the Remette PX the Remette PLXT. All those initials sometimes you can get tongue twisted and backwards on those. So PL pivot lock, XT thumb studs. Okay, this dual thumb studs, compact design, really nice, but it's a pivot lock only. You cannot access any liner. It's all held within the actual locking system right up here. This does have a lockout that will lock it from closing once it's out. If you want a secondary lockout, if you feel like you might hit that lock, but I never use that lock and I've never had an issue with it. So that's just something that I just ignore, but it's there if you like it. As you can see, the Falcon is a much larger knife. Now, this is another Remette. This is the Remette PL Pivot Lock XF. This is the flipper. So, this is a flipper only. Now, the PL XF is actually slightly larger than the Falcon. So, the Falcon falls right in between the PLXT and the PLXF. Let's compare it with one more. Now, this pivot lock is the one I think it's actually closest to. This is the Vosteed Anklio. Okay, so if you see on the Anklio, the knife is about the same length in handle. Anklio's handle is just a hair longer, and blade, the Falcon is just a hair longer in blade than the Anklio. So They really maximize the amount of blade to handle ratio in the Falcon, but the Ankylo is a terrific knife. I love this. This is probably my favorite pivot lock of my collection, is the Ankylo from Vosteed. Now, you cannot access the liner on the Ankylo. It's just straight by the pivot, but the Ankylo, unlike the Riots that have one deployment method each, this has your deployment hole, front flipper, back flipper, where the Falcon is just deployment hole and front flipper. Now, I have to say, I almost never use the back flipper on the Ankylo. I usually, most of the time, use the deployment hole or the front flipper, especially the deployment hole. And the same way on the Falcon, I only every once in a while use the front flipper. I mostly use the deployment hole. So it would not, I would love to see like the back flipper on the Ankylo just gone, to have it just these two. But I do understand some people still like the traditional flipper on the back, and it works outstanding. And if you don't like it and don't want to use it, you just don't have to use it. So it's not like it's harming anything. It's not a big one sticking out. It's very low profile. So Vosteed Ankylo, I think, compares the best to the Peregrine Falcon. Now, the Falcon, love the aesthetics, love the looks, love the functionality, the build quality. This is a fantastic knife. I would like to see more of a blade like this. You know, sort of like a drop point sheep's foot, or even a blade shape more along the lines of the Peregrine, a more standard, along the PLXF, more standard drop point style blade than the Tonto. I'm just not the biggest Tonto fan, but this one looks really, really cool. So if I was going to have a Tonto, I would love to have one that looks like this, but I think they've got a winner on their hands with the Falcon, and I think if they do other blade shape options, I think they're going to sell and do tremendously well. With this design, I could see them doing a more compact version, sort of putting it along the size of this knife right here, and I could see them doing even an XL version. Different blade shapes, different finishes. Remette, if you're watching this, which I don't know if they are, but if they are, do multiple versions. Do different blade shapes, different handle materials, different blade materials. Do a smaller one, do a little bit larger one, and everything. You've got a winner on your hands with this pivot lock system and the Falcon. I think this could really be a signature model for Remette if they take this and run with it. So that's my thoughts on the Falcon. I really like this knife, and I can highly recommend it. Let's flip this camera around and wrap up today's video of the Remette Peregrine Falcon. So guys, what do you think of the Remette Peregrine Falcon? Outstanding knife. I love their pivot style lock system. It just makes this a very fun, fidgety knife. You've got premium materials, premium build quality. It's just very, very well done. Remette has really stepped up their game. I love my Remette Swordfish. It's a premium knife. I gotta get me a Falcon. This is just really, really good. Now, would I like to see a drop point instead of a Tanto, or even a like a sheep's foot? Absolutely. But this is still a awesome knife as is. Y'all let me know what you think of the Remette Peregrine Falcon. And what do you think about pivot lock knives? Leave those in the comment. In the description of this video and all my videos are my links. I got links to my Patreon, to my TikTok, and to my Instagram. as well as links that help me here at this channel. And if you'd like to support what I do, those are the links to the best way to do it. Please hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and check out this video. Y'all be safe out there. I'm King Raven, and I'll catch you in the next video.